The chime of the bell beckons us into a sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation for you to join us in meaningful worship and in service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honorando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todos. We greet all those who join us this morning and hope those watching the live stream will fill out the online attendance form and refer to the many announcements in the online order of service. We ask those here in person to take a moment to check in by scanning the QR code on the front of your order of service. Then, after the service, seek out and introduce yourself to someone you don't yet know. We have visitors every Sunday. Please make them feel welcome, as I know you always do. We've had several members and friends who have received fraudulent emails and texts from people claiming they are one of the ministers or staff members and asking for people to purchase gift cards or send money. We will absolutely, unequivocally never do that. If you suspect it might be legit, do nothing until you call the office or talk to someone. Again, we just will not do that. And I also want you to realize that we found a few fleas this morning. So if you notice that there's a flea, just kind of bear with us. If you don't feel comfortable and you feel like you need to slip out, we understand. You can always join us on the online live stream. There was something else I was supposed to tell you.
That's all, I think.
That's all? Okay, well. Good morning. Now, can you please turn in your hymnals to number 347? That's what it is. There are not a lot of hymnals, so get comfortable and share with someone next to you if you don't have a hymnal nearby. Just share one or grab one from off of another seat. And so we're at number 347. Gather the Spirit. Please rise in body or in spirit and join your voices in song. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun, winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now
We gather in hope, compassion, and strength. We gather to celebrate once again. We celebrate the blessings we have received. We celebrate being together in this space. We anticipate and celebrate all that this day may bring. Come, let us worship together.
Celebremos compartiendo nuestras vidas, encendiendo esta luz.
Please join me in reciting the words to our congregational covenant, which can be found in your order of service. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
That was gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you so much. Author of Care of the Soul, Thomas More, writes that soul is not a thing, but a quality or dimension of experiencing life and ourselves. He points out that tradition teaches that soul lies midway between understanding and unconsciousness. At least as mysterious, the divine presence whom we acknowledge during prayer is beyond our understanding. The experience of our engaging the mystery of our soul to reach toward the mystery of the universe for guidance and to express gratitude can be both calming and powerful. I invite you to join with me now in the spirit that some call meditation and others name prayer. God of many names and mystery beyond all our naming, with intention and care, we have come into this time of quiet and peacefulness. We come seeking to deepen our spirit and enrich our souls. With concerns and crises swirling around us in our lives and in our world, bringing our authentic selves to this place and daring to show our vulnerable faces to the world is difficult. To sit in the quiet, in the unknowing, and await answers rather than chase them down and demand a response is difficult. In our unease, we await allowing our authentic selves to welcome the genuineness of others. We pray that our souls will resonate with others in beauty, wholeness, and truth. May we become so comfortable with the stillness that we seek it out more often, welcoming the quiet depth it brings. While immersed in the silence, may we reflect on our blessings and untether our concerns. We pray in the names of all those known and unknown, present and absent, remembered and forgotten. We pray in the names of all helpers of humankind. Amen. We pause now together to lift up that which sits heavy and light on our hearts. The wife of good friend of the congregation, Omawale Luthuli Allen, her name is Jimmy Luthuli Allen, has been undergoing health challenges, and we wish her a speedy recovery. Patricia Wunderlich, mother of Brandy Holmes and Christian Holmes' mother-in-law, has been placed in hospice. We send supportive and healing energy to the entire family during a very difficult time. Many beloved people in our church family are recovering from accidents, illnesses, or medical procedures. And please be careful. I hear of more and more people succumbing to COVID, so when in doubt, wear a mask. Our hearts go out to each of them, and we send them healing wishes. Mishal Barak is a prayer in the Jewish tradition for the healing of those whose names are called out by congregants. There are similar practices in the African, indigenous, and pagan traditions. We honor these rituals by saying aloud or bringing to mind those who we wish to be held by the loving embrace of this religious community. They are part of the great cloud of witness and memory, and we will, even if we do not know their names, hold them in our hearts. In this great cloud of witness and memory, amid this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. Let us remember the suffering and joy amid and among our community that we do not know. In her autobiography, Helen Keller wrote, "Silence sits immense upon my soul. Then comes hope with a smile and whispers, there is joy in self-forgetfulness. In the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite each of you to enter into a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection.
In the quiet of this place, let this moment fill with grace. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. May the sense of mystery guide us through our journey. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. This is my prayer.
Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. This week, that organization is Friends of Phyllis Wheatley High School. Friends of Phyllis Wheatley High School serves Wheatley students experiencing poverty, food insecurity, and sometimes even homelessness. They provide them with essential items such as clothing and personal care items. Our church has been collecting items for a toiletry drive for the students. The Friends of Phyllis Wheatley also supports students' academic progress and helps to create educational opportunities. The school has over 99% minority enrollment, and approximately 96% of the students are economically disadvantaged, qualifying for free or low-cost meals at school. Today, our shared offering will help bolster the amount of items we have donated. Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in the order of service next to the name of the shared offering recipient. And those watching the live stream are invited to go to firstuuhouston.org/donate. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. We ask you to give generously. An offering will now be gratefully received.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Please join with me in saying the dedication to the offering, which can be found here in the order of service. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Our first reading this morning is an excerpt from the sermon Care of the Soul by the Reverend Dr. Wayne B. Arneson. The soul is a messy thing for Unitarian Universalists. We are burdened by whatever childhood definitions or images of soul we have had imposed upon us or picked up by osmosis. We are handicapped by a vacuum of contemporary reflection on the soul by any scholars, theologians, or scientists that we trust, precisely because the word itself carries so much baggage. It is the great gift and the great curse of many Unitarian Universalists that we are more comfortable with the intellectual path of religious understanding. Yet, all of us know that our lives, our values, our sense of being at home in the world have been created not only by our intellectual encounter with the world, but by our experiences of joy at connectedness, of anger at injustices, and of wonder at the overwhelming beauty, experiences that can all be wordless and ineffable. Soul is the place where all these experiences meet together with our ideas and our collective unconscious in order to prepare the spiritual feast that is life's greatest gift. Here ends the first reading.
Our second reading is All This Talk of Saving Souls by Linda M. Underwood. All this talk of saving souls. Souls weren't meant to save, like Sunday clothes that give out at the seams. They're made for wear. They come with lifetime guarantees. Don't save your soul. Pour it out like rain on cracked, parched earth. Give your soul away, or pass it like a candle flame. Sing it out, or laugh it up the wind. Souls were made for hearing, breaking hearts, for puzzling dreams, remembering August flowers, forgetting hurts. These men who talk of saving souls, they have the look of bullies who blow out candles before you sing happy birthday and want the world to be in alphabetical order. I will spend my soul playing it out like sticky string into the world so I can catch every last thing I touch. Here ends the second reading.
I invite you to open your hymnals once more to number 123, Spirit of Life, 123. Please rise in body or spirits as we lift our voices in song. We'll sing this 2 times through. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Several years ago, I was visiting my family in Kentucky. Now, of course, when you move away, things inevitably change between visits, and we were talking about the many new subdivisions and stores nearby and buildings that had been repurposed. Save-A-Lot, cleverly spelled S-A-V-A-L-O-T, a discount grocery store nearby, had gone out of business, and it sat empty for a while. Then a small church bought it as their new home. I remarked, they didn't even have to change the sign. I love that I was able to make my mom laugh. You may have noticed that many churches and their congregants seem to be laser focused on the saving of souls. I believe that's due in large part to Paul, the purported writer of much of the New Testament, shifting the focus from living by Jesus' example to the afterlife. Now, like so many of the topics I choose, only to realize later that they are virtually impossible to describe with any accuracy, soul is different for every poet, philosopher, and religion. Mary Oliver asks, is the soul solid like iron, or is it tender and breakable, like the wings of a moth in the beak of the owl? Who has it and who doesn't? In his essay, The Oversoul, transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson explained, the soul is the perceiver and revealer of truth. We know the truth when we see it. Let skeptic and scoffer say what they choose. The soul has been a matter of conjecture well before Paul kept Middle Eastern letter carriers busy and Emerson put pen to paper. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle all had well thought out theories about the soul's attributes, and medieval philosophers expanded upon these classical foundations. Buddhism generally teaches the non-existence of a permanent soul, which contrasts with Christianity's belief that an eternal soul joins God's presence in heaven upon death. Jainism also considers the soul to be eternal, but changing form until liberation. Judaism uses multiple terms. Neshama can mean either soul or spirit, and nefesh relates to sentient being without the idea of life. Similarly, within the ancient soul dualism tradition of Chinese philosophy and Chinese traditional religions, every living being has two types of soul, Hun and Po. Hun is the spiritual, ethereal yang soul, which leaves the body after death, and Po is the corporeal, substantive yin soul, which remains with the corpse of the deceased. Now, having said all that, as retired UU Minister Wayne Arneson wrote in our first reading, the soul is a messy thing for Unitarian Universalists. We're handicapped by a vacuum of contemporary reflection on the soul by any scholars, theologians, or scientists that we trust, precisely because the word itself carries so much baggage. Well, Reverend Arneson wrote those words in 2015, and it could be argued that a few years later, that vacuum was at least partially filled by Thomas More's book, Care of the Soul, A Guide for Cultivating Depth and Sacredness in Everyday Life. In the introduction of that book, he writes, soul is not a thing, but a quality or a dimension of experiencing life and ourselves. It has to do with depth, value, relatedness, heart, and personal substance. I do not use the word here as an object of religious belief or as something to do with immortality. When we say that someone or something has soul, we know what we mean, but it is difficult to specify exactly what that meaning is. Now, I've been reading that book and lots of other resources, and I've come to believe that there are multiple reasons why the concept of soul may resonate with UUs. I believe that once we look at some of the qualities Thomas More and others associate with what we call soul, we'll see that it fits more in line with our values than does the simple caricature of something to be saved in order to live eternally. Moore wrote, "Just as the mind digests ideas and produces intelligence, the soul feeds on life and digests it, creating wisdom and character out of the fodder of experience." The soul's quality of continually seeking new wisdom and truth aligns with our covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically, and our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Soul provides a strong sense of individuality, personal destiny, special influences and background, and unique stories. Our celebration of the diversity and inherent worth of every person speaks to the soul's demand for unabashed authenticity. Our honoring the interdependent web of all existence dovetails with Ralph Waldo Emerson's vision of the oversoul, which I alluded to earlier. And each of these are focused on growing our souls in this life, playing it out like sticky string into the world so we can catch every last thing we touch. Thomas More wrote, "The life of the soul, as the structure of dreams reveals, is a continually going over and over of the material of life." Now, it strikes me that creedal churches regard spiritual growth as a linear path, leading to the acceptance of certain beliefs, typically as a way to salvation. The only movement would be away from that conclusion, which my Baptist friends in high school called backsliding. In care of the soul, he continues, if we can get past various fundamentalist attitudes about the spiritual life, such as attachment to a too simple code of morality, fixed interpretations of stories, and a community in which individual thinking is not prized, then many different ways of being spiritual come into view. But to look at the Bible for moral certainty, for miraculous proofs of faith, or for avoidance of doubt and the anxiety in making difficult life choices is very different from looking at it for insight. For the fundamentalist, the Bible is something to believe in. For the soul, it is a great stimulus for the religious imagination, for searching the heart for its deepest and most exalted possibilities. End quote. You see spiritual growth and growth of the soul as a meandering rather than a linear path, encountering different and new revelations along our way. You use covenant to partner with one another as we seek our own spiritual path, reaching our own conclusions, which may evolve over time as we plumb ever deeper depths. Ruminating is one of the chief delights of the soul. Early Christian theologians discussed at length how a biblical text could be read at many levels at once. There were literal meanings and allegorical meanings and meanings concerned with death and the afterlife. The Jewish tradition also seeks multiple layers of meaning. The rabbinic endeavor of mining the text of the Hebrew Bible to extract nuggets of wisdom from its hidden layers is called midrash, meaning inquire or expound. As a part of this congregation, your take on texts from many wisdom traditions is valuable to others as well as to you. And your thoughts on the soul and spirituality are important to add to the richness of our discussion. UU churches tend to have DEI congregants, which is good because the soul wants our authentic selves. a thoughtful congregant gave me a set of inspirational cards called Spiritual AF. Each card has a suggestion to make one's life more intentional and centered, often using not safe for work language. One card asks, do you want to be a rebel? Except it used a different word than rebel. Then suggested that in order to do this, one needs to show your heart to everyone. When you turn the card over, it explains that it takes a lot of courage in this world to be authentic. Now, back in college, I used to get annoyed at the flamboyantly gay guys. Being in art and theater, they were everywhere. I thought, people will think we're all like that. I'll take internalized homophobia for 200, Alex. But the courage it took to be more authentically themselves was formidable, and certainly more than what I had. What I didn't realize at the time was that if the world wasn't safe for them, it wasn't safe for me either. In my sermon blurb, I suggested that UUs don't often think about soul, and unless we're looking for a good restaurant or listening to Aretha. That's because when soul is used in these contexts, it is naming authenticity in African American culture, a depth and an exuberance inherent in food, music, or a person who has soul. In the musical Dreamgirls, and you knew there'd eventually be a Broadway reference, James Thunder Early, a performer with James Brown energy and talent, has had his personality and act recrafted by his manager to appeal to a wider audience. He's been put in a tux and he's singing Johnny Mathis-type ballads. Now, he can only take being inauthentic for so long and has a meltdown on stage. Curtis, his manager, tells him, you don't understand, Jimmy. Your time has passed. There are two different worlds, not pop versus soul, class versus crass. And Jimmy responds, I got soul, man. You can't kill a man with a soul. In iconic theologian Howard Thurman's 1980 commencement address at Spelman College, he said, there is something in every one of you that waits, listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. And if you cannot hear it, you will never find whatever it is for which you are searching. And if you hear it and then do not follow it, it was better that you had never been born. You are the only you that has ever lived. Your idiom is the only idiom of its kind in all of existence. And if you cannot hear the sound of the genuine in you, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. Thomas More said it this way: many of us spend time and energy trying to be something that we are not. But this is a move against soul, because individuality rises out of the soul as water rises out of the depths of the earth. We are who we are because of the special mix that makes up our soul. In spite of the archetypical universal contents for each individual soul is highly idiosyncratic. Power begins in knowing this special soul, which may be entirely different from our fantasies about who we are or who we want to be. One of our values states, we honor the interdependent web of all existence. This same concept has been described multiple ways through time. There's the ancient Greek and Roman philosophical concept of anima mundi, meaning soul of the world. They posited an intrinsic connection between all living things, suggesting that the world is animated by a soul, much like the human body, which infuses the cosmos with life and intelligence. I mentioned Ralph Waldo Emerson's concept of the oversoul earlier. In that essay, he intertwines individualism with community by asserting that while each person is unique, they are also part of a larger universal spirit. This connection emphasizes that individual experiences contribute to a shared understanding and wisdom among all people. Emerson, along with other prominent New England intellectuals, formed the Transcendental Club. Transcendentalism was a philosophical, spiritual, and literary movement that developed in the late 1820s and 1830s. Transcendentalists saw divine experience inherent in the everyday, and a core belief is in the inherent goodness of people and nature. I think it's not uncommon for people to feel the soul of the world in nature, although they may use different language. When the coming-of-age students from Dallas take their heritage trip, they visit Sleepy Hollow Cemetery in Concord. Emerson and Thoreau, as well as some of the country's other great authors and thinkers, are buried there on a hill known as Author's Ridge. The heavily wooded cemetery has become a favorite stop for the students, and I believe it's because of the palpable sense of soul one can feel there. I was devastated when I heard they had torn down the farmhouse where my grandparents lived almost all their lives and where my mother was raised. That farm felt to me like the one place that had always been there and would always be there. I realized while writing this that it was the soul of the place I would forever miss. I realized the sense of soul in that farmhouse might only be felt by family members and not the new owners of the land. But some places like cathedrals and important civic buildings are created to radiate a sense of soul. Now, sadly, it seems that those not interested in experiencing the soul of a place may do things like pave over beloved rose gardens. The great cathedrals of Europe are designed to show us how spirituality and soul come together. They portray spirituality in their soaring steeples. But these cathedrals are also filled with an abundance of color and carvings, according to Moore. Sculptures, tombs, crypts, alcoves, chapels, shrines, images, and sanctuaries. All haunts of the soul. Places of interiority, reflection, imagination, story, and fantasy. The cathedral could be seen as a union of soul and spirit in which both have equal importance and are inherently related to each other. Now, Conrad and I were blessed on one of our cruises to visit Barcelona and tour Antoni Gaudi's Sagrada Familia, the largest unfinished Catholic church in the world. The construction began in 1882, and I read just this week that completion is due in 2026. Without question, this is one of the most spiritual, soul-filled places I have ever had the honor of visiting. It was breathtaking. I had a similar experience the first time I visited the temple of Kukulkan, the pyramid in the Mayan city of Chichen Itza. Soul-making is a lifelong pilgrimage. All work with the soul takes time, intuition, and courage. The goal of the soul path is to feel existence, to know life firsthand, to exist fully in context. In Thoreau's words, I wish to live deliberately, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life. The power of the soul is like a great reservoir, or even the force of water in a fast-rushing river. It's the seat and source of life. We sense that oversoul in sacred places, and it resonates when we live as much from the heart as from the head. Our individual soul is expressed in our singularity and in our deep connection to others. Now, I began thinking about the concept of soul about a month ago when I stumbled upon the song, Let Your Soul Be Your Pilot, and asked Chelsea to sing it. The way that I serendipitously find poems, quotes, or songs that speak to me, to what I'm feeling or am able to use in a service, is as mysterious as it is welcome. This week I came across this poem by John Rodell, one of my new favorite poets. It's written as though two people are conversing. You're too sensitive. I am. You feel things so deeply inside of you. I have to. Why? Because that's where my soul lives. Amen.
And now I invite you to open your hymnals to number 86, Blessed Spirit of My Life. Please rise in body or in spirit as we lift our voices together in song. Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion, be the source of my kind tuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
Please join me in reciting the words to extinguish the chalice, which can be found in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I've chosen as our benediction words from a sermon by Meg Barnhouse. Within each person is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, to which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one. And this deep power in which we exist and whose beatitude is all accessible to us, when it breathes through our intellect, it is genius. When it breathes through our will, it is virtue. When it flows through our affection, it is love. Go forth this week and live deeply, live lovingly, and live soulfully. Go in peace.
Let your soul be your pilot. Let your soul guide you upon your way. When you're down and they're counting, when your secrets when your troubles take to mounting, when the map you have leads you to doubt, when there's no information and the compass turns to nowhere that you know well, let your soul be your pilot. Let your soul guide you well. When the doctors fail to heal you, when no medicine chest can make you well, when no counsel leads to comfort, then there are no more lies they can tell, no more useless information, and the compass turns between heaven and hell. Let your soul be your pilot. Let your soul guide you well. And your eyes turn toward the window pane, to the lights upon the hill. The distance seems so strange to you now, and the dark room seems so still. Let your pain be my sorrow. Let your tears be my tears too. Let your courage be my motto, that the north you find will be true. When there's no more information and the compass turns